Hi, welcome back to Mobility and Foam Rolling with me, Harry. We're going to start off standing up today. So we're going to do a little bit of balance work and then come down and do some foam rolling of our lower limbs, hips, and just a general move around. So we're going to start off with a really great and easy ankle stability, leg stability kind of exercise. So if you can, we want you standing on one foot. If you need to support yourself, get a chair, do it against the wall, it doesn't matter, but if you can do it unsupported, then great. And what we're going to do, we're going to reach forwards, to the side and back. This is the sort of compass exercise, great for people recovering from ankle sprains, anyone that's on their feet a lot, in high heels a lot, and wants to create a bit more stability in that ankle. This is a really good one. If you need to drop your foot down at any point just to re-stabilize, that's absolutely fine. Just like that. And then just make sure you're bending the knee a little bit as you're reaching forwards to the side and back. And let's switch sides for me. So we're going to reach forwards, bend that knee, out to the side and back. Out to the side, forwards, back. So what this is doing, because our centre of gravity is changing, the muscles and the tendons and in and around the ankle having to work really hard to stabilise the foot and ankle joint, which helps build up some strength. Great. Now what we're going to do is some calf raises. So again, we really want strong, mobile ankles. So we've done some micro stability work. We're now going to strengthen the Achilles and the muscles at the back of your legs. So to begin with, let's come down, come up even onto your toes, hold for a few seconds, and drop down. And then bounce back up. Hold for a few seconds and drop down. I tend to, as I come down, just roll back onto my heels just to open up the anterior sort of sole of your foot. Drop down, rock, come back up. Again, if you need to do this supported, that's absolutely fine. It's also a nice one, you can feel it strengthening the muscles along the soles of your foot as well. Great. If you can, we're now going to do it one at a time. So, again, support yourself if necessary. Stand on one foot, maybe start on your dominant leg, and we're just going to lift up and drop down. Great, and switch. Find your sort of centre of gravity. Ever so slight bend in your standing leg. You don't want it fully locked out, so a little bend in that, and then up and down. Great, let's switch again. Great, last one. 10 on this side. Great. So now we've got those ankles and those calves working. So as we've been lifting, we've been strengthening them. We're now going to loosen them off so they don't get too tight. So if you're using the Manta foam roller, to begin with, ankles in the outer groove. So we're going to start nice and gently. Have it on both sides. Hands just next to your pelvis. Lift your bottom just a fraction off the floor and roll through. I tend to just bring my ankles up a little bit as we get a little bit higher, just to add a little slight stretch into those calf muscles as we're rolling. Great. Let's up it a little bit. So we're going to go one leg on the central prongs. Again, lift up. Let's start by turning that foot in to get those inner muscle fibers. Let's keep it straight for a moment. And then out to the side. And straight. Turn it in. If you get a really sore spot, as usual, feel free just to oscillate on it. I can feel it just at the top of the inner gastroc muscle. Great, and let's switch sides. Let's come on to the other side. Single leg on the central prongs. Let's start with that foot turned in. Oh, that feels good. And sore. Let's go straight. Nice and slow, not too quick. Remember, the quicker you go, the sort of more superficial is. The slower you go, the deeper you tend to get. So if you're warming up, then it might be that you want to do a nice, quick, light session just to get the blood flowing and stimulate the sympathetics. But as we're doing a nice sort of mobility and relaxation, we're going to go slow and deep. Brilliant. Let's come on and do our shins. So, as you hopefully will remember, the shin muscles are all on the front and outside of the leg. On the inside, it's just bone, so you don't need to worry about foam rolling that area. What we're going to do, let's come into a slight sort of side plank type kind of position. Back foot over the top. My bottom leg is pointing forwards, and we're just getting into those muscles at the front and the outside of the shin. Anyone that's taken up running recently or have been doing a lot of treks and hiking, this is a really important one to prevent shin splints. I tend to use the middle humps for these ones, really good, and right at the top you can often feel a bit of a trigger point, and just where that common perineal nerve which innervates it comes through that muscle can get a bit tight at times. Great, let's switch sides. Oh, that feels good. So for me, I'm feeling it right up at the top. So I'm just going to oscillate there and just roll and breathe. Good. Brilliant. Come back up. We're going to do a hip flexor and hamstring stretch sort of combined. So we really like movements that are sort of a bit more flowing, rather than sort of your classic static stretches. So usually when we do a hip flexor stretch, previously we put our toes up at the back. For this one, we're going to keep the foot flat, okay? We're going to take a slightly longer step forwards with our leading leg. We're still going to tuck that pelvis under and lunge forwards, but as we come back, we're going to sink down, pop our toes up, and feel a little bit of a stretch in the hamstring. And then we're going to come back, tuck under, push forwards, hold for a second, rock back, toes coming up, feel that in the hamstring. And repeat. Last one. Brilliant. Let's do the same on the other side. So lunge forwards, on the foot flat on the floor, tuck your pelvis under if you can, and lunge a little bit forwards. And then rock back, toes coming up. Feel that stretch in that hamstring. Oh, that's nice. Last one. Brilliant. So we're now going to focus on the TFL. It's a really tight muscle on the side of the hips, which we've done before. Connects to that IT band. So if you've got any issues with your IT band, this is sometimes the culprit. What we're going to do, we're going to be using the central prongs of the foam roller, coming into a side lying position. You want your hip, you want the foam roller just above your sort of hip, on your pelvic sort of line. And then what we're going to do, straighten that bottom leg, roll forwards a fraction, and I tend to lift my sort of bottom foot off the floor slightly. And as you tilt forwards a fraction, you will just feel that foam roller sink nice and painfully into that muscle. It's one of those muscles that often gets overlooked, but it's really important. It gets short when we're sitting. Cyclists can get very tight in here. People with IT band issues can get very tight in here. And it's such a small muscle that it's only a little rock. We're not doing anything too big and dramatic. Great, let's switch, come on to the other side. So, onto the hip, just above your sort of hip bone in line with your pelvis. Roll forwards ever so slightly. And this is one of the ones that when you're on it, you tend to really know you're on it. Great. Let's come up. We're now going to focus on the lateral quadriceps. So they're the muscles at the front of your knee. So if we're thinking about ITB issues, which are really common, we want to loosen off your TFL, loosen off your outside quads, outside hamstring, and then it'd be strengthening the glutes at the top. So let's focus on those outer quadricep muscles. So we'll start with the foam roller just above our knee. I'm going to go straight onto the central prongs. And we're going to turn our foot in slightly. So we're just targeting the strip of muscle that's on the outside of our thigh. And this is very tender in lots of people. So take it nice and steady. That's the foam roller squeaking, not my muscles. Good, and let's switch. So, outside quad, start with on the central prongs just above the knee, fairly straight leg to begin with to make it a little bit easier. Turn your foot in and roll through there, watching out for any nice glassware you've got. Brilliant, and come back up. Let's do the outer hamstrings now. So, outer quadriceps, outer hamstring. We're going to start with it above the knee again, turn the foot out this time, and roll through here. Now, because the hamstring is quite a thick, fat muscle, you might want to cross one leg over to apply a little bit more pressure so you can really get into those muscle fibers. As usual, if this is too much, if it's too uncomfortable, which is absolutely fine, you can always use the outer grooves and go 2 legs at a time, which is much more gentle. But for most of us, using the central prongs is fine in the hamstrings usually. Great, and let's go to the other side. So, foot turning out, start 1 leg at a time. Nice and slow. And then let's add a little bit of pressure if you can. Cross that other leg over. Oh, that feels really good. Great. Put the foam roller aside for 1 moment. So, if we're thinking about our IT band, the other thing to remember is that our glute maximus, the lower quarter, comes down and attaches into it. So we want to loosen off the TFL where that IT band starts, the outside quad and the outside hamstring, and then a nice glute max stretch. So we're going to go to our friend on the back, turn the leg in, hold onto your knee, hold onto your shin, squeeze in and across. And just feel that stretching in those deep muscles and your glute max. Great, slowly relax, come and do the same one, opposite side, so turn the leg in, hold onto your shin, hold onto your knee, in and across, hold there. And relax and switch. Whenever you're doing anything like this, it's always useful to use your breath to relax. If you want to, you can always get a foam roller, have it underneath your head to support your neck. And switch. And last one on each side. Turn the leg in, squeeze in and across, play around with slightly different angles until you can feel the one that feels the most effective for you. Good, and last one. In and across, play around with the angles, find the sweet spot, and hold. Great. Let's get this foam roller. I know I've switched to the firmer one, but that's okay. Get the foam roller just at the base of your skull. Drop that chin down to give ourselves that attractive double chin. Flatten out your low back a little bit. And hold there. Feel that getting into the suboccipital muscles at the base of your skull. If you want to, you can just slowly nod, opening up those joints in the upper neck and getting into those muscles that work so hard to keep our head where it is. Brilliant. Come up nice and slowly. Going to leave it there for today. Take the next 5 minutes to foam roll or stretch any area that you feel a little bit tight that we haven't covered today, and I'll see you next time.